Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar that is dedicated to the smart workflow automation for insurance industry. My name is Alex Pechnook, and I'm your host, pre-sales director and product evangelist at Creatio. And today I will be driving you through the topic of how Creatio can provide a unified platform to automate the core business departments of any organization to support marketing, sales, and service operations. And as always, we're going to start with a quick introductory slides just to kick off the stage, let ourselves started. And please don't hesitate to ask any questions in the chat area. Feel free to ask pretty much anything that comes into your mind. Our team will respond to those questions as we go. And of course, if some of them are left unanswered, we will cover them in the end of the demo during our Q&A session. So let's get started. Now, first of all, as we know, and as we've covered multiple times through our previous engagements, our previous webinars, at this point, it is evaluated that in the world, there are only 25 million of developers available. And as you understand, this number does seem quite high at all times, right? But the thing is that over the next couple of years, it is expected that the demand for business applications and solutions is going to grow to 500 million new applications, which is a ridiculous amount of apps that these 25 million developers will have to develop. And the expectation to have them all received quickly in time and at required quality does seem unrealistic. So if you think about it, by having 1.7 billion knowledge workers that are very, very aware of all of the business aspects of the organizations, of those applications that they demand, by empowering these knowledge workers to deliver those applications, we can actually cover the demand in the applications and even provide a lot more at a better scale, at a better quality by utilization of no-code technologies. Because the idea of the no-code technologies is actually to allow these applications being delivered without any special and technical knowledge, without any technical background, by using drag and drop point and click style of configuration of business applications. And when you think about the whole industry of insurance and its need in digitalization, it really brings us to the idea that by introducing no-code technologies to the insurance industry, we can actually support the growing demand of the business in digitizing their key business processes, in allowing them to change faster and to adapt to the changing business environments. And of course, to reinvent the ways that they are engaging with their customers. How do they engage them in marketing campaigns? How do they support their need in sales products, right? And how do they actually support and retain their loyalty throughout their life cycle? But as well, how can they change the way that they are engaging and the way they're building relationship with their own employees? And the idea here is that Creatio, throughout its no-code and low-code technology, can support all of these demands and can provide an amazing way that the businesses can actually meet those requirements, meet the market changes, and provide a solution to their key stakeholders by giving them a no-code technology that will support the end-to-end process from idea conception to the rollout and to eventual change. And what Creatio really is looking to deliver to our customers is a complete freedom in building and owning the automation that the company seeks by giving the non-technical workers the freedom to create their business applications without any limitation in customization, in building applications without a single line of code, with full transparency on how the applications are deemed to be operating. And of course, with the help of the marketplace to accelerate the time to market and accelerate the time to value to any organization out there. And the way that we're, again, looking to deliver this is by providing a one platform of Studio Creatio that encompasses CRM core applications, the best practice in managing marketing, sales, and service automation, by providing industry workflows in a single solution based on the CRM system. And of course, through the reusage of connectors and templates on our marketplace, that are all supported with the no-code platform of Creatio, allowing to scale, to adapt, and to change all of those applications even further, right? By introducing additional processes for middle and back office, right? By introducing processes that are non-CRM related and actually allowing the customers to scale quickly and use Creatio as a single core business application within the organizations. And of course, the single platform or the one platform is just one of the promises that Creatio has at its heart, at its core, where we as well are looking to deliver full freedom and genuine care to our customers. And these are just the core principles of Creatio that we believe that we deliver to our customers. And we're very excited to introduce the product through the demo that is dedicated to the insurance businesses. So let's jump into the product right now and look at how Creatio can help and allow our customers to automate the core processes for insurance organizations. Okay, and as we jump into the demo itself, this is really where we start the day in the life of any user that is working with Creatio as a single platform. Through our homepages, we're trying to deliver the core key performance indicators that should be bringing up the attention of the user towards how well they're performing throughout their day-to-day operations, right? How well the system is helping them perform and how the system itself is really performing. And of course, the idea behind the homepages is to make the whole stage and work with the analytics more interactive, right? To allow the users quickly navigate between these analytics that can be as well easily introduced through no-code methodology and no-code technology. Now, of course, at this stage, it is also quite important to mention that in addition to these homepages, we as well provide quite a lot of dashboarding capabilities that can help expand and extend the overall view of the analytics and the data that we're tracking in the application. And of course, the idea here is that the homepages are just going to be the starting point, where through the dashboards, we can as well deep dive in all of the data that is going to be sitting behind that. And talking about the one platform and a single platform for marketing, sales, and service automation, it is quite important to remember that for many organizations, that this is the beginning of the journey in building their single solution to deliver this true customer 360. And the customer 360 in this case would be covering not just the corporate insurances, right, and corporate businesses, but as well the retail engagements, by allowing the organizations have a unified and a consistent view over the customer data, whether we're talking about corporate or whether we're talking about retail insurance. In this case, what the Customer 360 is really going to be standing for is the ability to aggregate all of the customer data under a single roof, under a single area. When, if we're talking about Alex Wilson as an example, right, we can as well bring forward this data through dashboards and analytics that are going to be embedded even to the initial screen of the customer data, just so that every single time that an end user is opening up the record, they can see this data being brought forward and made available at the very first glance. And when we're talking about Customer 360 in insurance, of course, this is covering the NPS engagement, the policy analytics, the ability to as well understand the white spacing in the customer records, right? To see actually there are any of possibility of upselling on additional products to their family members that we already know of, right? To as well dwell into some of the claims and case analytics that have been captured with our service products. And of course, additional views of the data based on the marketing engagement and other pieces of the product. And even though this is just the initial screen, of course, there's so much more that we can track throughout the product itself, right? Everything that is related to the base social demographic segmentation of the customer data, anything around the noteworthy events, any job experience and communication options that we might need to be connected to as well understand more complex organizational structures that are going to be related to retail customers, right? And as well to more corporate structures and corporate segments. All of the data around the connected to and building this structure views would allow us to then actually from the corporate side of things, have a better conversion of the data and utilization of the data by allowing the relationship managers to better utilize the data in identifying future business opportunities. And all of this is really supporting the needs of our customers in utilizing the single and unified CRM in their processes. Now, of course, it is quite important to remember that throughout the portfolio and next best offer overview, we can look at all of the policy data, all of the adjustments around the premiums, to be able to as well identify next best offers supported by our machine learning models and machine learning capability to run any additional product questionnaires that we might need to incorporate into our processes as part of opening up or signing up the insurance contracts, or throughout our post-sale processes to evaluate the work and the satisfaction of the customers with our services. To the customer 360, that can be as well looking into all of the claims data, right? If there are any additional services or tickets that need to be open within our claim department, right? To look into all of the services that are available to customers at all times, to be able to understand the customer engagements through submitted forms, through web sessions and web actions, when Creatio is fully integrated with the website of our customers. Based on all of the data that we are going to be tracking within Creatio, we can actually exchange it with third-party segmentation engines and deliver the possible segment groups for our customers that can be included into our marketing engagement campaigns. And speaking of the marketing engagements campaigns, of course, throughout our marketing activity tracking, we can as well look in all of the subscription statuses, all of the emails and bulk emails that we're accessing out, any additional events, direct mails, and marketing campaigns where we have been engaging these customers throughout their lifetime. So overall, this is quite a massive data set that we're tracking naturally and out of the box throughout our standard configuration. And at points where we need to have a more consistent and precise view over the customer journey and view over the customer data, we can as well look at it through a chronological perspective at the timeline view, where we can really analyze and understand step by step how the relationship was progressing at all times. What were the different steps that were taken by our end users? What was the communication that was actually tracked and managed within the application? And all of this further on can be as well used at all times by all of the users depending on their role. So for instance, if we're talking about building a marketing engagement segment or segmentation list, our customers can use the combination of base social demographic segmentation, the history of communication, the transactional data, the behavioral data, and the history of sales by delivering very specific customer segments that are going to be then built without a single line of code, right? Not involving IT, not depending on the IT resources and delivering complex queuing or querying, but actually by using all of the data points that are available on a concept level or in the related data. All of this is available for all of the end users of Creatio, allowing them to have the self-service technology at their fingertips and allowing them to easily deliver very precise marketing segments that they would like to engage to promote products, to promote additional services that they could be upsold based on the next best offer, for example, or identifying the ISPs across the corporate relationships and corporate customers that would like to engage. So quite a lot of capability in building marketing segments, unlimited by and not restricted by the technical knowledge of the users, not limited by any way or form. And of course, at this point, since we're talking about the marketing engagement and marketing segments, I believe that is the most natural next step is to look at how exactly do our customers engage with both corporate and retail insurance customers throughout our marketing automation. In this case, as we are providing a unified platform for marketing, sales, and service on a single database and single application, switching to a marketing role is actually as simple as just switching to the marketing workplace. Not having a need to actually log out and log in back to another application, write another system that is going to be somehow integrated with Creatio or with a Creatio's offering, but actually having all of this functionality available straight away under a single system. And in this case, of course, we do have a dedicated homepage just for the marketing users, right, showing and outlining their performance, and the access and ability to utilize all of the marketing automation functionality that Creatio provides. And in this case, when we talk about the marketing automation, we do talk about the campaigns functionality. We do talk about the ability of building automated marketing workflows that are going to be executed automatically by the system, combining different channels of communication that we would like to engage our target audience in, right? And by allowing the marketing users to easily define who should be included into the marketing engagement campaigns, when they should be receiving the communication and how, right? And how do we define the next step that should be chasing them with? In this case, if we're talking about a specific example of marketing campaigns, right, as I mentioned, we of course have the ability of incorporating multiple target lists into the campaign to then eliminate any possible duplicates that were identified throughout the start of the campaign and start building this automated communication flows where we control how the target audiences are going to be navigated between the first and the next step in the communication. Right? If this transitioning should be dependent on the way that they respond to the marketing efforts that we're applying, if there should be any additional conditions of navigating to the next communication step or actually excluding them from the marketing campaign if they have unsubscribed, if they have decided to opt out from the communication, or if they're simply not responding to our marketing communication. In this case, of course, we can incorporate multiple channels of communication, classic email marketing, sending out additional text messages through integrations that are provided by our marketplace, or even by integrating the platform to push notification engines that could be available on the mobile phones, right, on the web browsers, and any other modern means of communicating with our contacts. And of course, as part of the flow of the campaign, we can be as well engaging with this targeted audience and engaging them in the way to encourage to submit a landing page form, right, to register on the website so that we can then actually take the next further step by creating leads, adding them to outbound call queues, right, or even just registering a lead and transferring to a sales representative straight away. The idea here is that Creatio really delivers an application that is not limited by only one specific example or use case in marketing automation, but can actually be built and reused in very different ways and forms, depending on the purpose of the campaign that you would like to engage them in, right? This is where, with the help of no code, just fully drag and drop enabled automation tool, you can easily change the way that the system is going to be engaging with your target audiences so that you're not limited by the fact of having to export the mailing list results and refreshing those to define what would be the next recipient list. You can actually just create and design the marketing automation flow and then analyze the performance of these flows, right? To have a better visibility on the resultantness of the campaigns and the ability to actually alter the journeys of the customers through the campaigns next time and basically spend more time on being creative in how would you like to engage the target audience later on, rather than having to just simply keep an eye on the execution of the campaign. And of course, the analysis and the overview of the resultantness of the campaigns is as well supported by having analytics being inbuilt directly into the marketing campaign record, right? By being able to introduce the overview of the resultantness of these campaigns at all times. Now, we could continue by, with the overview of the marketing automation capability quite extensively. This is a whole world of, functionality and different approaches that we could be taking. But I know that we're quite limited in this webinar, so I'd like to carry on by looking at other pieces of the functionality that Creatio has to offer. Where, of course, the next natural step would be then talking about the lead management, right, and conversion of the already captured lead audience into the sales qualified and marketing qualified and sales qualified data. In this case, we of course can talk about different types of leads that we might be working on as corporate and retail, right? Of course, both of these types of leads could be actually engaged in their own separate ways. Of course, in this case, we can talk about the different means of actually capturing the leads through the website, whether or not even just the website, but through different channels of communication. The idea here is to aggregate any possible lead engagement or interest of leads in the products and services of our insurance customers under one roof, so that we can as well apply different means of qualifying them and even scoring them with the help of our machine learning models. This is basically where we are as well applying local technology in delivering the predicted scoring of the lead statuses by actually allowing the customers to then tweak and alter the probability of leads being converted into opportunities and further down the road being closed as new or existing customers, right? The Creatio's platform and our automation capability would as well support all of the end users through the automation frameworks that we provide, where we do combine different approaches in delivering human-centric and system-centric processes, DCM and BPM automation frameworks. This is where at all times when we're talking about the lead or any other automation framework in Creatio, we first of all talk about how it can be visualized for the end user to give them the most vivid overview of the lead status or an opportunity status that we're going to see in just a couple of minutes, right? And how will we be as well driving the users through the execution of the sales workflows, helping them to be more efficient in their day-to-day operations. Now, of course, in this case, if we're talking about this specific example, right, by qualifying a lead, by confirming this is a real lead data that we would like to engage further and to try and convert to the opportunity, we might as well have our BPM framework that is going to be helping us define the next best action or the next best step in managing this lead. Where behind each of these results as an activity, we might have the next step already predefined and as well delivered automatically to the end users, right? Where we might be disqualifying the lead, pushing them back to the nurturing stage for the marketing department to re-engage them, and of course, to convert them into an opportunity following a more classic B2B longer sales cycles of any enterprise sales model, where of course, part of the qualification steps, we might be providing the most crucial data that is going to be related towards conversion of the leads, right? And as well helping us to maintain a cleaner and better quality data pipeline in the pipeline of the organization. Now, in this case, the BPM framework will as well help us to manage the data in the application more efficiently, right? To avoid any unnecessary data updates by the end users and re-engaging that data automatically through and reusage of that data automatically through business processes that can cover this data maintenance automatically for the end users themselves. Now, as we are moving forward through the processes, right, of course, whenever we qualify a lead, we then talk about the opportunity management process and sales management processes. This is where we might as well just switch back our role to the sales department, right, and as well continue where we left off with the opportunity. In this case, it is quite important to as well remember that Creatio does provide this consistency in how do we deliver the automation frameworks and the user interface, right, by allowing the users to natively navigate between different areas of the application, right, by utilizing the same concepts and the same approaches in delivering human and system automation. But then, of course, at each of the separate times, focusing the users at those steps where it is most important for them. For example, at the lead stage, it was the lead probability to be converted to an opportunity. At an opportunity level, it might be the predictive probability of the opportunity itself. How well do we actually feel, how good do we feel about converting and closing this opportunity, and other metrics that we deem being crucial at this stage or for this type of process: the opportunity threats, the profile completeness, and the date of mass activity that are quite often the key metrics that we're evaluating looking at the pipeline at all times. Now, moving forward, of course, Creatio provides all of the required and necessary bells and whistles that are relating to managing a pipeline successfully, right? This is where, of course, the opportunity trends that we will be providing will be affecting the overall profile completeness and profile of the opportunity. We as well can actually cover both positive and negative signals that will be helping us to identify if we're actually managing the opportunity correctly, if we are actually capturing and asking all of the right questions to our customers when we're communicating with them, right? If we would like to fill in any SWOT analysis, right? If there are any additional recommended products that we have already identified to be part of this opportunity, right? If we have already generated any policies as part of the profile of the opportunity, that is usually actually carried out at later stages. So no matter what is the type of the engagement, Creatio will deliver this core data model that we actually need to provide and that we need to keep track of to successfully manage the pipeline, right? To be able to deliver all of the required data to both the customers and the users at all times at each stage of managing their pipeline successfully. And yet again, the system will still have a certain level of control and will still provide a certain level of agility to the end users of navigating through the sales processes. Whether we would like to allow them to easily just switch to the next stages in their process, where we can generate additional steps and additional action items for them, or whether we would like to actually make certain steps required for them to be able to move through the milestones, through the checkpoints in the sales process, in the service process, or any other type of process. And in this case, the flexibility of the platform does allow us to as well have these changes and these processes being created and introduced to the organizations without having to rely on heavy IT involvement whatsoever. And of course, Creatio does support all of the different types of processes that are usually involved in the all of the peculiar processes that are involved in corporate sales, such as signing up for a new corporate client in insurance, right? To being able to as well generate additional quotes or the quotes that are required within these processes, right? To be able to run the quotation process separately and independently from the opportunity by delivering offer calculations out of the same solution, being able to as well prepare these quotations and share them with the customers by utilizing the process management engine and automation frameworks in generating templated emails and as well attachments that are going to be outlining all of the specifics of the offers that need to be included into the process. The idea here is that within our local platform, Creatio does have the ability of quickly introducing all of the peculiars of each individual business, yet allowing the businesses to as well have the ability to quickly change and react towards the changing business environments that they live and operate within, right? The idea here as well to allow all of the data that is going to be stored on the platform to be then accessed through analytics, through dashboards, and even third-party BI solutions that we would like to incorporate into their work and into their life. And of course, the idea here is that all of these steps and all of the items in the workflows and all of the processes can be as well easily adjusted. And we will be looking at some of those tools the platform capability as we move forward through the demonstration. Now, it is quite important to as well mention that as part of our functionality stack, we do have a lot more different actions that will be supporting the revenue recognition processes, that will be supporting the user productivity and engagement. Of course, allowing us to keep track of all of the products in the portfolio, all of the policies that will allow us to then as well easily resign the customer, right, for future extension and retention processes, and as well keeping track of all of the territories and the distribution of the leads and sales forecasting. In this way, supporting not just the sales processes themselves, but as well the processes of keeping track of the performance of the users, right? For future planning periods, for the ability to actually have the forecast being delivered in so many different ways and perspectives of the data. Overall, creating a very functionally rich applications and systems that they will be able to use and engage their customers in. And of course, in this case, if we're talking about the sales cycles, it is quite important to keep in mind that once you have a new signed customer, you can then actually run an additional marketing campaign on top of the data they've already captured, right, to promote additional products and services, and of course, to engage them at the end of the billing period or at the end of the contracting period to as well support the customer retention in loyalty programs and in loyalty automation. And of course, to finish off some of the parts of the CRM world, right, and to close up on the idea of a unified platform, we of course talk about the customer service function, right, and the ability of keeping track of all of the service agreements and all of the services that the company would be offering to its customers as part of those policies, to be able to as well aggregate all of these service requests, claims, and other types of inquiries by the customers into a single platform that is going to be as well reusing the data. Okay, there we go. That will be as well reusing the data on those customers and a single solution, and as well would allow to aggregate from different channels of communication, whether we're talking about email communication when a customer is submitting a new case through an email, right? Whether we're talking about live communication through incoming phone calls, or even if we're talking about a chat communication that we as well support through multiple channels of communication just as a messaging platform, whether this is going to be a simple website widget for live chat, whether this is going to be communication through messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger, and any others. And just by simply making this part of the solution itself, because the idea here that Creatio is not just a system of record, right, but it's also a system of action, allowing us to as well engage the customers in communication at all times, at every stage of the process, whether we're talking about marketing engagement, whether we're talking about sales engagement or service engagement. Since, of course, the platform itself allows us to easily reach out to allows the end users to use the platform as a communication tool. If we needed to quickly reach out to our customer, we could easily do that by utilizing our CDI panel and live communication with the contact. We could as well engage them through an email directly as part of the case record or claim record that we're looking at, right? And as well have other means of communication with the customers. And overall, speaking about the case management capability, this is one of the areas where we can as well heavily rely and engage our machine learning model capability by allowing a higher level of data prediction support the claim and service processes in general, to be able to easily predict the priority or the service of different cases that we would like to run on top of the service processes, to be able to quickly engage the machine learning model in searching for similar cases, right? And of course, to be able even to predict on what would be the time required to resolve a claim, resolve a case, depending on the similarities between multiple cases that we are working on as part of the service function. And of course, the same concept of using DCM and BPM will be applying at all times by creating very specific workflows that will be supporting the distribution of the claims or the cases, by creating processes that will be guiding the end users from one step to another in delivering these very controlled yet very information-rich environments in which the users can actually complete their day-to-day operations at a much faster pace with the support of low-code technologies. And of course, the overall approach that Creatio takes when it talks about automation of any SLA-driven role is by utilizing the queuing functionality and technology that we provide out of the box, by being able to deliver a single workspace for the end users to operate within, to be able to look at all of the different KPIs and metrics together with the most recent updates from the organization, and of course the queue itself that the users need to be working on, those queues that have been assigned to their user group or to them individually based on the case management or case distribution functionality. And of course, this is where through the agent dashboard, we can as well provide the view over multiple activities that need to have a follow-up, or even multiple leads that need to have qualification being delivered on top of them. Again, the idea here is to have any SLA-driven role focusing those users only on the high priority queue items, rather than having them to go through all of the different areas of the application. And this way, providing a more consistent and easier to follow structure of the processes that they're going to be involved in. And as you can see, Creatio does have a lot of different areas of functionality that they can be incorporated in, right? This is where, even from a high level overview that we just went through, there's so much more that you can do with Creatio. And of course, the idea here is to have all of this being delivered at a pace that is twice as fast as traditional implementation, not just because we already have most of the functionality available out of the box, but also supported by our local technology, where when we're talking about even just the workflows that we're going to be following as part of the claim management functionality. All of these processes are designed without a single line of code, by having a simple to follow structure of the case design or DCM design, right, with the overview of all of the different steps that we are going to be providing to the end users to follow. And then, of course, all of the actions that they need to be completing. And of course, we do have the ability of quickly updating all of the structures of these workflows, right, to be able to control which steps are going to be executed at which times, and if there is any additional communication that needs to be happening and that needs to be running through automated emails, or by delivering the email templates to the end users to actually send out, right? And of course, all of this is available as a platform capability. So the same approach that we're seeing at the claim processing case is applied on the case of the managing of an opportunity or a lead. And of course, though the DCM framework is usually used to automate more agile and sometimes even chaotic processes and workflows, we of course have the ability of introducing a more sequence-based, business rules reliant business processes, workflows as business processes, right? When we talk about the lead management, for example, and a lead management process that we actually followed together with you today, when we have been qualifying a lead, right, defining what is the next best action that needs to be carried out by the end user, by simply looking at this diagram, right, that is extremely simple to read through and really is delivering the automation layer to make the operations of the end users more efficient, more streamlined, and more consistent. And of course, the idea here is to utilize both frameworks, DCM and BPM, at all times to have a higher level of degree in automating the end user workflows by allowing these workflows being actually designed by non-professional IT resources and users, such as business analysts, citizen developers, and even system administrators, right? By allowing them to creating these workflows at a faster pace so that we can as well quickly adapt to the feedback of the end users, right? And being able to quickly introduce changes to these workflows whenever we receive the user feedback or even the customer feedback from how well we are actually providing them with the services. And to finish off with some of the demonstration of the platform, right, and the overarching idea of low code, we're actually going to come back to the area where we just started with the demonstration when we're talking about the sales homepages, because the idea here is that even the visualization of the data that we're seeing and that we're using in Creatio is also carried out without any professional IT development, right? Where we're actually introducing the ability of building charts and building data analytics with simple point-and-click style of configuration by allowing the users to quickly updating the way that data is being visualized and brought forward, right? By allowing the data being actually visualized and introducing those changes at a faster pace. So that any single time that we need to bring in an additional view of the data, right? Or tweak the filters, tweak the visualization criteria, this all can be done at a much faster pace, not involving IT, and thus making the overall adaptation of the user workflows and the business goals much faster at a more efficient TCO, right? And a more efficient pace whatsoever. And at this point, let's have a look at some of the questions that we might have had in the chat area so that we as well can answer those if they haven't been covered by our team. So the first question is, what are the benefits of using a single platform for automation, marketing, sales, and service processes? Well, hopefully some of those were actually shown throughout the demo. But the idea here is that through the combination of marketing, sales, and service processes being carried out on a single platform, you get a higher level of data reusability by being able to deliver a true customer 360, right? By being able to make your marketing engagements more precise and more tailored, by being able to keep track all of the single point around how you were engaging your customers when you're talking about the sales cycle, and as well being able to use all of this data in your service processes to identify the top priority cases or top priority claims for the service department. Of course, all of this data, when being stored and hosted on a single platform, delivers a better access to the analytics and allows a better overview of the company on organization performance in general. And I would say it makes the overall design and adoption of the system much more successful and streamlined for the end users. Okay. The next question is, what are the types of processes can be automated with the platform? In this case, of course, we can talk about other non-CRM use cases and processes for revenue recognition, for example, for internal operations such as ITSM, ITIL type processes, HR processes, and finance processes that are quite commonly introduced and implemented with Creatio's Studio platform. And the last question that I can see is, does Creatio offer templates to automate internal processes? And the answer is yes. Creatio does provide a marketplace of solutions for multiple different industries, including insurance, but those as well that are actually supporting the ability to quickly reuse any integration and connector that is available on the marketplace, right? By introducing templates of business applications and processes that you can easily tweak, adjust, and tailor to your organization needs. And those processes that would be made available just in a minute as a plug and play automation way. And overall, yes, the marketplace is one of the core focuses of Creatio and its strategic developments, where we encourage all of our partners and customers to post their solutions, right? Create additional revenue stream for them, and just share the best practices of working within different industries and across multiple different use cases. And I believe that this would be all from a high-level perspective on the topic of smart workflow automation for insurance industries. Thank you so much for your time, and hope to see you next time. Thanks again.